Hey, it's Brett Friedman, owner and creator of Vanitymark Cosmetics, and I'm going to give you all the fun facts and all the things you need to know to sell my Ultra Brow powder. So let's talk a little bit about my Ultra Brow powder. And when I was coming out with the powders, it was really important for me to have something that can be used wet or dry. So on a lot of actresses that I work on, they'll just do the sort of standard fill-in with an angle brush with the dry powder. But some that want a little more, drama, say like a Gwen Stefani, who likes something very crisp, or women that really like to bring out the tail, you can use the Ultra Brow powder wet also, which is really nice, and it's a great little option, and not all of them do it. Now, the big thing about women using brow powders, and this is a little tip, is a lot of women are like, oh, I use an eyeshadow for that. When you're using something around the brows, you really want something made for the brows because it needs to be matte. And a lot of shadows, they'll have a satin finish or some, a shimmer. And a lot of women think the tone is great, but you have any sort of light reflection around the brows, it's gonna look phony. And at certain angles, and especially if you're being photographed, when the flash hits it and if there's any sort of luminosity to an eyeshadow that's being used as an eyebrow fill-in, it will hit the mica in the powder, and it'll actually photograph, probably white or, very, very pale, so it'll look like the skin, and then you'll just see sort of the hairs around it. So, really talk to women, educate them about the importance of using products for the brow, made for the brow. So another great thing was I had Ultra Brow powder really finely milled. I hated when I would go in my kit and I would use like great colors by other huge lines, but when I would put the brush over it, it would sort of dust away and I felt like it wasn't staying, The Ultra Brow powder is really pigment intense. It's a makeup artist making a product. So for regular women, a lot of times the color payout is a lot. So that's why you're there to sort of educate them to have a soft touch, and it's always best to go a little lighter and build. So, a lot of women that are grinding it in and like used to, they have to get a little more delicate touch and, get a lot of the product, dusted off if if they put too much on. But they'll learn to sort of swipe it across and just do it very subtly. Now, it's all about the color range too. I had, for example, the blondes, there's two blondes. So, and I talked about this with the pencil, is there's a lighter version and a darker version. And, watch the pencil sort of thing to get the little idiosyncrasies about the color range, which Vanitymark has the biggest color range. So everyone can find their shade. So, and all the pencils and all the powders, have their coordinating shades. And a lot of times people will mix and match. I know women that will use a blondist pencil, but then use a blondie powder to go in and sort of set it and just to maybe bring out the tail a little darker or in the holes. And this is another little tip. You really want women to not just fill in where they're trying to fix. A lot of women have holes or their brows end and they sort of just fill it in. You really want to do it everywhere, because if it's hair on skin, it looks differently from a distance than a filled in sort of solid. Even if it's the same tone looking in the mirror, you want a taupe that gives a shadow of definition through the whole brow. For example, a taupe. Or, rather than, okay, here's my brows and then I'm just filling in this. And then, in pictures or if someone sees them in real life walking around, it's like hairs on skin and then there's like this shadow. So to make it more uniform and diffused, this is a tip that I give to women that they seem to really like. So that will help you in, sort of bringing Ultra Brow powder to your customers. And they need you. You're the beauty expert, I call women that aren't makeup artists or aren't in the beauty industry civilians. Civilian women are overwhelmed by makeup. So that's why, you're seeing everything. You have the inside track. And by me telling you all my little tips and secrets when I was putting these products together helps educate them. And who doesn't love to be a little bit smarter? So anyway, and once again, the price at $16 is, like MAC pricing. So it's not L'Oreal, that's like $8, $9, but it's not Chanel or NARS, that's like $22 to $24. So it's workable with everyone's budget. I mean, it's a luxury item for sure, but it's still right in that range that pretty much everyone can afford a $16 Ultra Brow, and they get so much for it. So there's the tips. Go out there, educate the world, and enjoy pretty.